Hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Al Stock Trades. How's everybody doing today? I just a little bit of crazy dancing right now. I hope you enjoyed the Chamath AI. That was pretty funny, guys. I mean, I was late at night. I was like, well, everyone making fun of his sweater. Let me fucking maybe let him cough out some Clover Health. So thank you, Grok, for that. How's everybody doing? That was probably cringy. I'm really sorry. I just felt like dancing. Yeah, so just came off of a meeting, so that's why I'm in a suit right now. My apologies here, just take it off, but didn't have time. In fact, I was late to the live. So hopefully that was fun. Just why not, right? Life is short, right? So let's so we have a lot to talk about. So I made a live yesterday. I ended up removing it. Because I'm going to end up basically talking about it, and it's going to be a lot better. That one's going to be more internal. It's supposed to be in like an internal live, but it ended up going into the public there, which is fine. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes here. I had some notes that I wrote that I'm just going to go ahead and just talk about here. So lots of stuff happening. So we'll just go ahead and just get to it. If you have any questions, let me know. The chat's open. Actually, you know what? You bring up a good point. Chelsea Clinton. Honestly, guys, I wasn't going to talk about this. I was going to make like a video dedicated for her. But, honestly, since you brought it up, we should probably talk. I mean, everyone, I think people want to hear my thoughts, maybe. If not, totally fine. But let me just pull it up. Yes. So Chelsea Clinton on October. It's funny because I was actually in LA. So on October 31st, I was actually in Los Angeles. Shout out to Kaiser. Love you, Kaiser. Right? Love you, Kaiser. Right? Beautiful place. LA. Right? All right. So I met someone at the airport, and I was like, "Hey, what do you do?" We're just like talking, and she's like, I want to be an actress. I'm like, that is very Los Angeles. That's very Los Angeles, I would say. You would think after YouTube and everything, you would think that, Hollywood would lose its grip, but it's still there. So, yes. So Chelsea got kicked off when I was in LA, or she stepped down. And I want to talk about that. So, I want to first off say thank you, Chelsea, for doing your amazing work at Counterpart, or Clover Health, from 30,000 lives to 100,000. You should be very proud of yourself. You and your amazing mother. You guys are hard workers. Thank you. And I do believe in freedom of speech. However, there is a problem here, and I hope that doesn't ruin our relationship, Chelsea. You always have a special place in my heart. But you again, being transparent, you did publish an op-ed talking about the Trump administration. And and I know that this president, I mean, I read a lot of his books. I'm not gonna proclaim. Sorry, I'm just checking emails right now as I'm doing this. The emails are just flowing. They're just flowing like waterfall. Donald Trump. If he's going to give a pound of meat, he's going to eat the whole body, right? So you don't talk about. Is Al breaking up with her? Is Al breaking up with her? Yeah. I'm sorry, Chelsea, but I think I found someone, and her name is Eva. I'm just kidding. No. Right? No. Honestly, guys, Trump is not going to be giving Clover anything if someone on the opposite side of the political spectrum, especially with this government shutdown, he's just not going to do it. And this was a political move. I mean, it's fair. I mean, if you don't see that, then you might want to gain some life experience. I mean, this was a very political move. So even though I love diversity. I love people from opposite side of the spectrums on a board. I actually like that. You don't want to have people on the board that think the same, which is why I like Bill Clinton's presidential campaign. He brought people that disagreed with him. You see, people in our lifetime access, we all argue, right? We argue, but we argue with respect. Okay. We argue in a way that's respectful to the dialogue of just, science. And we don't get mad at each other, I would say, right? So it's kind of it sucks that she left. However, as TW 2645, Chelsea leaving is not a negative. And I hate to say this, but in this presidential time we're living in, it's actually a positive. Even though she helped us with the Democratic Party, she helped have AOC on her back. AOC. So I would say Clover's in a really good position right now, right? Because they're good with Trump now, with Chamath. They're good with them, and they're also good with Democrats. So obviously, it's very clear that in order for Clover to move forward, Chelsea needed to step down. And she's a real leader. She stepped down. And ultimately, I've seen people call her names, and that's just uncalled for. I mean, why are you going to call her name? You know what I mean? Just because you don't agree with someone's politics, it doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? Like, you remember when John McCain, and again, I hate to get political. That's why this was a political move. But you remember when, like, the lady was scared of Obama and she talked to John McCain, and she's like, "Is this guy a good person?" And John McCain said, "No, he's a good guy." That was probably the last time we ever saw some political decency. Both the Democrats and Republicans have honestly ruined that discourse. And it's just kind of a shame that we're in this, them versus us. And I get it. We have that issue with Wall Street. But regardless, this is actually a positive for Clover Health. It's a positive. So that's pretty much it. It was a political move. She left, and now this has an opportunity for them to grow into the administration to get more money. That's pretty much what it is. This is what this administration wants. It wants no history of Democrats to have success. And honestly, it's actually going to work counterintuitive of what Trump might expect, because the people that actually, again, no, but probably not. Maybe might work towards people that actually have brains and can actually think for themselves will see through this. And ultimately, people will decide later on kind of who helped who, if that makes sense, right? But we'll talk about that later. It's a level kind of goes beyond this video. Never mix business and politics. Which is unfortunately the case. Shit didn't do a damn thing. Glad she's... Well, Barry, how do you know she didn't do a thing? How do you know that she didn't work in the background with AOC and all the other regulators? I mean, you really do not know that, right? It's very you're not on the board, right? You don't know those. Like, how do you know that, right? The Clintons are a very powerful family, right? Making comments like that without any, like, show me proof, right? Right. So I just don't want to hear more about that later. I want to see some. Well, no. I agree with you there. I want to see some sass, but I don't think we're going to see it. And listen, I want to be wrong. Andrew Toy, take my foot and put it in my mouth. I would eat that up, right? Because I'll be able to afford to buy a new one. You know what I mean? So yeah, prove me wrong, Andrew. I mean, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be later. A Humana board member coming in. Who knows? I mean, it's clear and a reason she has gone to bed. No, absolutely. I agree. Catch you in the morning. Barry knows everything. Right. Politics and business are mixed. It's unavoidable. But no, I agree. All right, Barry. I don't know, Barry. I disagree with you, Barry. The Clintons are what helped Palantir get into the business world. Remember? You should look into it. Probably coming to Clintons. Man, you guys, You guys hate. You guys, man. My subscribers hate the Clintons. Holy crap! Damn, wow. I'm sure you guys can't talk about Obama, right? Obama's. I'm sure his. I don't like his policies, but he was very inspirational, at least to me, right? I mean, I wouldn't have been able to build all this without him kind of making me believe in myself. But anyhow, that's my thing. Well, the thing is, under Clinton, it was one of the best White Houses, I would say, regardless what happened in terms of the deficit. Not David Sachs, right? But anyway, we talked about that. This is why I wanted to. This is why I wanted to make a separate video, because this thing engulfs politics, always engulfs any conversation, right? So let's move forward, right? Because we're all in this together, guys. Okay, regardless, Democrat, Republican, it's all that. Obama, a whole collection of blue states and red states. We're supposed to be united, but I feel like we're not. But it's okay. Hopefully, we get there. Now, yeah. Let's talk business, okay? What the hell? What the hell? I want to put this on a postcard. I mean, AI is awesome. Okay, so yeah, let's move forward. So I wanted to talk about. I just have these tabs I want to mention, and then we'll go in a little bit actually. So let's first talk about this, and then we'll go to. Let's just kind of go through all this, okay? We have a lot to talk about. So most people are still running Windows 95 mines in an AI powered world. It's time for a mental upgrade. So unfortunately, when you talk to people, it's very, I'm sure you've noticed this for the lifetime access members. You guys talk to people about like Warren Buffett and all this. They're like, yeah. Right. Yeah. Listen, guys, those people don't understand what you're saying, because you are literally talking to them at a 2025 level computer when their mind is still stuck in Windows 95. I mean, go open up Windows. I mean, you've seen me open up Windows 95 on this computer, right? I have access to Windows XP. Remember I showed you? If I go to speak 2025 language in Windows XP or Windows 95, it's going to look at me like I'm the stupid head, right? Because it was not programmed for that language. And it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people out there right now that don't really understand anything about the world. They do not have worldly knowledge. And for the people that don't have worldly knowledge, I really feel bad for them, because we are entering a revolution right now that's really going to take people's jobs. And it's, really bad. It is really bad. And it's, by the time they figure it out, it's going to be too late. I've helped a lot of people. Some people are like really thankful and are making decisions to educate themselves. And others are like, yeah, right. And, in about 5-10 years from now, they're going to realize it, and they're just going to be like, crap, it is what it is. So just update your mental processing minds, right? Don't go with the flow, right? I like to take the opposite approach. Everyone hates the Clintons, right? Or at least everyone, right? Ask yourself, why do people do that? And let me take the opposite side of the spectrum. Always take the opposite side of the argument, okay? We'll talk about this later. It's not right now. This guy's name is Dr. Jason Ryan. He was actually he actually gave me a scholarship for the Boards and Beyond package a long time ago when I had nothing. Yeah, he definitely was a tremendous help in my education. So he's cool. So open evidence. I find this pretty impressive. Open evidence has a revenue of $50 million and a evaluation of 6.1 billion. So that's a price to sales of around 122. So for every dollar that open evidence earns, it's about $122 in price to sales. Now it's very interesting because Palantir just posted their earnings, and it's been pretty rock solid earnings. Definitely, looks like there's a 4% decrease because of Michael Burry shorting it. But really what I wanted to show in regards to Palantir is Palantir's price to sales. Now, open evidence is 122 in the private market. Palantir is around 137. So you can see these the AI world is pretty much at 100 and around 120 is for the price to sale. But that's just two companies, right? So again, could counterpart revenue become this? I've shown you. I don't have the PowerPoint slides here, but I've shown you. I've shown you that graph, Al Daddy, how he went from like 120 to like 497 million. Assuming that if, let's say, counterpart was able to make, let's say, $450 million in revenue. And then if we attack a price to sales of 122 divided by 1,000, that's about 54 million. That's $109 stock price. So again, it's pretty impressive. Let me make sure the mic is effectively going the right. Yeah. That's pretty cool, right? That is a it's pretty cool, I would say. I'm the future looks bright. But now let me explain to you kind of why. So we already know that the valuations in AI and healthcare is crazy. Kathy Wood said that, Wall Street's sleeping on what AI can do in healthcare. And again, you guys know I'm in healthcare. World central banks have cut 312 times. I mean, the last time this happened was in 2020, this high, and also the great financial crisis. So we're at a position where we're at a starting point of all these cuts. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to shift to our model here, okay? This is our VIX quantitative model. We have a quant model, okay? And it takes in a lot of data and analyzes it, okay? And again, a lot of people first were like, what is Al? Who the hell is Al? Right? Who am I? Right? What am I? Right? No. I'm a scientist, right? I think universities have become very watered down and washed down to have no inherent mental stimulation. It's all virtue signaling. They teach you, you know what universities are good at? They teach you how to virtue signal, right? They're so good at like you can become a doctorate in virtue signaling. That's all that comes out of it. And if you find yourself virtue signaling a lot, then perhaps you're not really tapping into your true potential. Because Peter Thiel said this. I'm trying to find it for you. And you should copy this question down. Peter Thiel said, "What important truth do very few people agree with you on?" The problem is when you go into universities, they teach you what everyone agrees with you on. They teach politically safe things, right? They teach what's politically correct. And as soon as something becomes not politically correct, like for example, when Donald Trump said that for people that use DEI, we're going to remove their funding. A lot of universities removed their DEI because they wanted to lose the fund. They didn't want to lose the funding. And, it's all, in my opinion, I think, we should always encourage diversity. But if you truly believed in something, regardless if the funding will be pulled or not, you should stand for what you believe in, right? Even if you lose money. And it shows you that it's a politically motivated move for money. And just like how they got money for being DEI, now they don't get money, so they stop being DEI. And it should raise bells in your head to say, what are other things that universities are doing to dilute my thinking? People do not know how to think anymore for themselves, right? And my goal is to at least show you, again, my videos are long, okay? I can go ahead and tell you all this stuff right now, and only 5% of you, 10% of you would get it. And then you would repeat the video 10, 15 times, put it in ChatGPT to understand, and maybe you might get it, right? But I like to break things down slowly, okay? What important truths do very few people agree with you on? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's pull up this cuts, okay? And let's open up our VIX quantitative model. And let's go ahead and run the damn analysis. When we run the analysis, let's go ahead and shrink it a little bit. When we run the analysis, whenever the VIX is above 50, this has happened 6 times in our history. In the long history of the stock market, this has only happened 6 times. And the times that it happened, it was at market bottoms. I showed, when I was flying, I showed this to some investors on the plane, and they said, holy crap, your software can do this? Yeah. Yeah, you bet your boots. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. These are all market bottoms. Let's fast forward. Look at that right here. 2020. Market bottom. See that yellow dot? You see the yellow dot? The yellow dot marks a spot. And guess what? We had it again recently in April. Remember Liberation Day? Remember when CNBC was telling you, sell, sell. Oh my God, recession. We're going to die. Oh! X, or the gold circle, yellow, whatever you want it, marked the bottom. So now let's go ahead and let's superimpose this data set and figure out the dates. So 2008, 2008, 2009, 2009, and 2020, and 2025. So my mind says, okay, let's conglomerate 2008 and 2009 into one data point. So 08, 09, we got a lot of spikes that says this is the bottom. 2020 was the second signal, and then 2025 was the third signal. 3 signals. 3. Now we go here. And now we look at the world global cuts. 2008, 2009, right here, right? Signal 1. 2020, signal 2. 2025, signal 3. I'm going to let that simmer in your head for a little bit. If you have questions, ask. So we had my software, which is a completely different data, look at the bottoms here, and it marked the bottom, and it only happened 6 times. And amongst those 6 times was 08, 09, 2020, and 2025. 08, 09, we can glue them together, right? 2020, you guys already know, and then 2025, which is what happened. So you can see I'm trying to build this lattice framework of thinking, connecting different thought processes, different data points into my mind, and showing you how I create a lattice framework of thinking to generate a hypothesis without having to rely on anyone. I'm trying to teach you how to generate your own hypothesis. Okay? Now, let's take it to the next step. So in 2020, within, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, we had like a bear market. It was a big dip, right? So 2 to 3 years, we got a crash. Here, it took us a while. This was the start of a bull market. And then here, 2025, you can add 2.5 years. So if we take, you know how, like, remember 2022, Meta was like at $90? Here, let me show you. Watch. You see how, like, here was like 2020, right? And then we like went up a lot, but then all of a sudden we crashed down after 2 years. After 2020, we crashed down and like $90, and then now we're obviously like 6-bagger to potentially 7-bagger from Meta. And remember, watch my videos. I was saying Meta is amazing, you know, and I calculated the intrinsic value was above the 500. Everyone's like, no way. Yeah. trillion, right? Now hold on. So let's think about this. If we just take the last data point here, which is 2020, and if we say in 2 years from now, we should have some form of a depreciated market, then by 2027, we should reach the peak. The peak should be around 2027. But there's more to it. You can't just use this. You have to use multiple things. But something smells like shit in 2027. Okay? So we know that in the next 2 years, something is cooking. Okay? So 2027, there's just something. I don't know I know where right now, but I'm building you up the thinking. We know that it's we know something. 2027, 2028. But we have to, like a surgeon, we have to dig a little deeper. Right? We have to go deep, okay? Okay. So we have data. Bless the Lord, we have data. So now let's look at this data from the Al Stock Trades platform, which you can get lifetime at. You can get this data right now, right? I mean, you have a lot of data. So now let's look. So now just look at the S&P 500. I'm going to explain to you the table because sometimes it's hard to understand a table. So this is the dates. These are the times where the VIX was above 50. And there's 6 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the most recent one, 6. This is the VIX of where it what it crossed at. This is the RSI. This was the S&P 500 performance 3 months after the signal, 6 months after the signal, 12 months after the signal, 18 months after the signal, 24 months after the signal, 36 months after the signal, and 60 months after the signal. Okay? Simple. It's not rocket science. Now, this happened in April 4th. This happened in, the Liberation Day, April 8th, 2025. 12 months, we don't have the data. 18 months, we don't have the data. 24 months, we don't have the data. 36 months, we don't have the data. And 60 months, we don't have the data. Why do we not have the data? Does Al Stock Trade suck? Do we not have the data because we suck? No. We don't have the data because it hasn't been 12 months since April 2025. You're thinking April 2026. So we don't know the future. The future isn't here yet. Exactly. Right? I'm explaining this very slow so everyone gets caught up. So now we understand. We've massaged every corner of the freaking table. So then now, let's look at a little deeper to the table. Okay? So let's look at the first 3 months. 24%. We performed pretty damn well 3 months into that signal. Now let's look at the other signals. Where is it the most similar? Is it the most similar to this one? No, that's negative. How about this one? That's negative too. That's a low number. That's a 2.6%. How about this one? 22.5. Well, that's pretty similar, eh? 22.5%. That's pretty good. How about this one? Kind of. But out of all the ones, this one's most similar to this. So we just got a postulation. 2009. But the question is, B-Rad, which 2009? This one or this one? This one. The last one before 2020. So pretty much let's look at the signal. Which one? This one right at the bottom. The one right before the greatest bull market in history. Okay? Hands up. February. Oh, no, you got it. You got it. You got it. February. Exactly. So now let's look at 6 months into it. 6 months into it, it's up 35.5% from Trump's Liberation Day. Okay. Is it more related to this one? No. How about this one? No. This one? No. This one? Yeah. 35%, 35%. But this one's kind of higher. Wait a minute. This one's 22%. This one's 24%. So this one actually performed 2% better than this one. So if we add 2%, oh my God, it looks just like this one, doesn't it? It looks just like this one. Wow. How do you think Tom Lee is able to project where the S&P 500 could go? What data points is he using? Listen, guys. I'm trying to teach you how to think. Okay? I'm a scientist. And soon I will become a physician, a doctor. You know what doctor means? It means teacher. Okay? It means teacher. That's what it means. Okay? I'm not going to go ahead and tell you my predictions without giving you the mother in which it came from, the axis, the data point in which it came from. So let's see the chart. So we should technically do the year end to do the retrace the back calculation of this, but on average, 41% to 35%, you could see. Then you have 18 months. Then 24 months, we have a nice dip. You can see there was a dip. So there'll be a dip. Dip. Then 36 months, a dip. And then we get a rise. So it looks like there'll be it looks like we're going to run really well, and then it might be a dip. So I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong. Oops, hello, I'm using this one. Sorry. This one. We rise, and then we dip, and then we go up insane. I'm sorry, I used the wrong number. So look about it. 35% for 6 months. Then 47%. We're going to rise a lot. Then we're going to dip in 18 months, potentially, if we're following this track record here. And you think retail investors know about this? Of course they don't, right? They don't want you to know about this, right? They're bastards, that's why. Yeah. Now, 75%. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, wee wow, right? 83%. 148%. Interesting. So let's see. Let's do the math. So if this is true, going to be 47%. Let's do the math. 47%, 0.3. And this will be like May. Sorry, this will be like April 2026. So 47% minus 38.3%. That is going to be a 9% increase. So if we take the S&P 500 right now, if we take the S&P 500, oh, it looks like B-Rad already calculated it. Oh, you're still in my thunder. So let's see here. So the S&P is 6,800 whatever, right? So if we take the S&P, let's open up, just do ChatGPT. If it increases by 9%, what would be the number? Let's see what would be the number. So you say 7,000. Now you say 71. The answer is 7,468. S&P. See? Okay. By May 2026 or April 2026. Yeah, but the low of up 47%. Yeah. So hold on. So what I did was I took 47, subtracted from 38. Exactly, 7,600. There, around that, right? I took 47, subtracted 38. I got that delta, and I applied that delta to the current S&P 500 evaluation to estimate what it would be in April 2026. Okay? So you can ultimately see where this could go. But hold on. This was the disaster of the great financial crisis. We're in an AI revolution. Who knows? Maybe this might be even higher. I don't know. But it looks like we're tracking along just like this. We're tracking along this timeline here. Literally the VIX, right? Literally right close door. But anywho, again, this is just a guesstimation. This is just to get your brains working. Just because you can see, like, so you guys can see what I'm doing, right? Kind of like understanding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just showing you like my thought process. This is one data point. Okay. One data point. Okay. Now let's look at small caps. Now we hit IWM. You see how we hit IWM? There's this one and this one. So now small caps, which one are we tracking more close to? We're tracking more closely. Well, first off, this one we're tracking more closely to this one. This one we're tracking to this one now. This one we're tracking to this one. So it looks like we're tracking pretty good here. Then 18 fell. Then boom, boom, boom. So look at this. We are in for an explosion in the IWM because we're following more this timeline. So we're looking at potentially, double bagger there for the IWM, right? So CLOV should outperform that market because it never has. Well, we can't make certain statements here. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just education, right? But, you could look at the data and you could put it through your mental model, right? So now that we know that and we have this data point, now let's go a little deeper. So let me take a break mentally, because this is exhausting mentally for me to break this down, because I'm literally So, okay, hold on. So like when I explain to you guys this, I do this in my head automatically. It's like I close my eyes and it just happens. And for me to talk about it's hard, because it really is mentally draining. So I'm gonna go get some water. I'm gonna take a little like couple second break. Okay. You guys know this is like not scripted. This is like straight from my mind. This is like hard shit. Okay. So let me just take a quick, let me go drink some water and I'll come back. In the meantime, I want you to go ahead and read this. Try to read this. Okay. I'll put on some music.
Albert Allen's got the secrets in his hand. Retail heroes taking over this land. Trading stocks with a master plan. Fortunes rising on the Clover brand. Numbers rolling, deals never stop. Bulls are charging, markets gonna pop. Albert's wisdom higher than the top. With Clover Health, we'll hit the jackpot. Fortune calls, Albert leads the way. Retail winners here to seize the day. Clover's Health, dollars gone on its way.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause I got some water. Yeah, as you guys can see, this is mentally draining. Hmm. All right, because I'm talking to you how I break this down. Because connecting it to you is difficult, right? This is teaching is not easy. People, if it was ever, good teachers come in a dime and a dozen. I've done this for a while, so all right. I'm confident. I can assure you that I'm actually a good teacher, right? So, yeah. All right. So, I'm gonna read on this diagram because I don't know these dates. This like I don't know this shit, right? I have to read it to you. Um, Let me just open up Mosaic here. Yeah. So if you don't know what this is, then you really don't know history, and it's a shame because you really what Michelle? Okay, she's like, oh, nothing. She's like, oh shit. Um, this was born in 1993. It was the match that lit the dot-com bubble. And this was the first browser. You could see how we kind of built on top of that. It really hasn't changed, as you can see from here. It looks almost like this browser I'm using. And this is an AI browser. This is called Comet. This is an AI browser, okay? So you can see, it looks pretty good. And shout out to University of Illinois. Shout out to you for creating it. Give credit when credit's due. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you the story of how what's that song of how my life got turned so upside down, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story, okay? So I'm gonna tell you the dot-com story. Okay. So in 1993, about only 2.3% of the world's population was on the internet. It wasn't a lot of people. Mosaic was introduced in around 1992 to 1993. It went from 2 million to 14 million in 93. That's a 600% increase. Then it went from 14 million to 25 million. As soon as it started doing that, Wall Street started to pay attention. They're like, wait a minute. Quite interesting how this internet thing is growing. What could we do? And then in 95, it grew up to 44 million people. So then Wall Street was really paying attention. And then came Netscape Communications. Maybe some of the elders here could talk about that. I've actually used Netscape. I remember. Time goes by fast. And this was called the Mosaic Killer, right? Almost like Mozilla, right? Who knows, right? It sounds familiar. So Netscape Communications decided to IPO at $28. Remember, I think Elon Musk applied for Netscape. I think he got declined. I don't know. This was like a big company back in this was the it company. So it decided to IPO at like 10, 15, 20. And the guy kept on increasing the price because of the demand. So they finally set up upon a price and it IPO'd at $28. On the first day of trading, it went and it doubled to $58. Guys, doubling back in the day was insane because only the rich and maybe the upper class had access to the stock market. Okay. So it went and it soared to a market cap of 2.7 billion. Now you might look at me and you might say, Al, really? 2.7 billion? I don't think you understand how much money that was back in the day, especially look at other stocks too. Okay. Sorry, my neck is hurting me. So I'm going to go get a massage after this. Just to give you some context, what $2.7 billion in market cap means, and back in the day, it took General Dynamics 43 years to do that, what Netscape did in one day. people started saying profits don't matter anymore. We see that now, actually. Only thing I don't see yet is IPO surges and credit swaps and credit spreads. I don't see those yet, but when I do, I'll let you guys know. But anywho, usually like a bubble, right? So, but yeah, profits don't matter. And then 1997 happened, and then everybody started getting into internet stocks. You had companies rebranding themselves, saying, I am going to create an internet company that delivers food like Instacart, but they know nothing about the food industry. You see, that's what's different about this AI bubble that we are about to enter. People actually know what they're talking about. When I start seeing people that look like non-experts trying to do this, that's why it's called investing in your circle of competence. You kind of if you don't know, I have a lot of people, there's some people that are like, dude, invest in quantum computing. And I'm like, what does a quantum computer do? Like, I don't know. It goes up and stuff. People do that, right? So people back in the day started to quit their jobs to trade internet stocks. That's all they did. They wanted to trade internet stocks. Then 1998 happened. So September 29, 1998, the Federal Reserve initiated a 25 basis point cut. Cut number one. On October 15, 1998, the Federal Reserve initiated their second interest rate cut. Cut number two. In November 17, 1998, the Federal Reserve initiated its third interest rate cut. And then the people started to move. You know that song, techno song? On the first day, God created man, right? And then he created music, right? So the Federal Reserve cut interest rates and the people started to move, right? And all of a sudden, it's to the moon, right? Everyone started making cash, right? Everyone, money, right? And then the Federal Reserve was like, oh my God, these people are insane. So from June to November, the Federal Reserve started doing interest rate hikes. They're like, let's hike the interest rates. And you know what stock market did? We don't care. We're moving. Hike all the way. We'll hike with you. Stocks going high. Let's go, right? Match the Federal Reserve. Let's party. And in 2000, we peaked. People stopped talking about profitability. But I don't want to be profitable. I want to be like those internet companies. Being unprofitable is the way to go. That's literally what they said. That's why, and Warren Buffett was like watching. He's like, you guys are idiots. Price to earnings 200. Who gives a shit, right? Let's go, right? And then all of a sudden, 2002, from 1999 to 2000, we had a lot of corporate insiders selling. 23 times the normal value of selling versus buying. We're going to be watching that. And Vivek, I'm watching you, Vivek. Right? I'm watching you, baby. You better do some fake selling, Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there to confuse it, but I'm watching you, and I do math. I know your portfolio position. I know portfolio allocation. I know how much you're going to remove and, all those things. I'm going to be monitoring you. I'm watching you, baby. Right? Then I'm going to be watching all these other folks as well. Right? And other stocks as well. And a lot of those people back in 1999 and 2000, they were selling. Luckily, there was a lot of digital wiring that was inputted into the ground. And without that .com bubble crash, we would not have YouTube. I won't be able to talk. We had an over 80% over build out on wiring to where, because we have this, we had a lot of space to allow for fast internet so you and I can talk. And of course Netflix too with YouTube, right? So this is good. This is good. So let's do some math. Okay. So now let's go, and I released this in our deep research. You can find it here. You can find it in deep research right here. This is this here. Okay. And what we did here is we looked at the rate cuts that we had in regards to September 29, 1998, the first rate cut. Then we had an intermeeting cut. Then we had another rate cut. And then we had a hike, a hike, a hike. Right. So this is kind of the, 1995, right, when Netscape came online. And then we had the interest rate cuts here, which then spiked it all to peak. And then all of a sudden we had a peak and then we fell down, right? So now let's look at this. So 2024 to September 18, 2024, we got a 50 basis point. And then 2024, again, we got another rate cut and another rate cut. And guess what? Now we got two more rate cuts here. Okay. We just had one, so, recently. So now if we take this analysis and if we basically superimpose the .com bubble onto the AI bubble, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this analysis. So we went ahead and conducted the analysis, and it's really funny. October 12, 2022, the S&P bottomed, right? October 12, October 14, October 12, around that date, it bottomed. And then a month later, ChatGPT was launched. Isn't that weird? Like, it's almost like the market knew about ChatGPT. Very weird, isn't it? How coincidental that is, right? And then, so we had these two anchors, right? And then this is where the bull market starts. We again, no one knows when the bull market starts until later. Now people say, you know what? The bull market started in 2022. So on average, we can say, okay, fine. If it started in 2022, we can add 5 years before we get to a really bad bear market. And we get to that same year, 2027. We get to that same freaking year that we got with that other thing from Kasobi letter. 2027. With the diagram I showed here. If I can find it. Here. See, like usually 2 years, then we get, have a crash, maybe 2 years, 2027. But then there's more. There's more because remember rate cuts, 1998, and then we got the bull, the crazy bubble. Okay. So now, when will OpenAI become public? So pretty much late 2026 or 2027. So now we have another data point. 2027. So 2027 is when OpenAI will be public. That might be not at the peak. Who knows, honestly. But it may be here. Right around here. And we keep having fun. But overall, it looks like it'll be here, and we still have room for the S&P to go bananas. So these are the peak windows. And once you start getting to 2029 and forward, this bubble may pop. But it could extend all the way to 2032. Just like how it popped in 2022. Sorry, 2002. It also popped a little bit in 2022 as well, but 2002. So if you take 2002, subtract it from 2032, what is that? So what's 32 divided by 2? Sorry, let's just do it. 2032 minus 2002. That's 30 years. Imagine, you see how like history repeats itself? So, uh, so there it is. And if we look at the log index, trying to see if we can make sense of this, and we can look at the projection log, and we can look at the best fit, it looks like we may hit peak right around the midway of 2031, right around this location. That looks like where we might hit peak. But the problem is this analysis is suggesting that we get to 7,900 in 2029. But if we get to 7,900 or heck, 7,500 in 2025, which is what Tom Lee's projecting, then we are like 4 years ahead of this cycle. Which means if the bubble is 4 years ahead, and if we know we're going to hit the bubble in, let's say, 2031.5, then 2031.5 subtracted by 4 years, oh my God, 2027.5. So what does this mean? And I was a bit skeptical, and I'm like, what the hell is Vivek talking about? Bubble, this, bubble, that. Ooh. We may be sooner than later into this cycle than I thought. I mean, think about it. If it was any other market right now, I would be shorting the crap out of the stock, Okla. Right? And maybe I'm sure people are, but again, I'm scared. I want to shorten this cycle. This company makes no revenue. How the hell is it $18 billion? So if the calculations are correct, then we should get in a bubble in 2031. But the S&P 500, we're like early. We're like accepting all the gains. Like we're 4 years ahead in terms of the S&P 500 on average. If we do end up at 7,500 by the end of the year, holy shit. So that means if I was Sam Altman, and Sam Altman knows this, right? He won't say. But if I was Sam Altman, I would want to become public immediately. I would want to become a public today. So if I was Sam Altman, it would be in my best interest to be public in the late half of 2026. Because I'll only have about maybe half a year to a year before the bubble pop bursts. But again, plus or minus 2, who knows? Maybe it might go on longer. But I think this bubble is going to be insane in 2027. And if I was Vivek, and Vivek is Vivek, and he's smarter than me, because he's been in this longer than I have. When he was doing this, when he was, guys, no, when he was doing, so my dogs are like arguing with another dog outside. Vivek was doing this since like the late 90s. This guy has more experience than I do. Hey, stop it. This guy, Vivek, he's very well developed. I mean, he's very smart. So if I was him, I would make sure they're a triple dragon by then. Just imagine them being a triple dragon. And then all of a sudden, just and saying AI, value-based care, counterpart revenue, Humana revenue, all that. So the explosion is going to be huge. So that's what I'm looking, which is why, like, I don't care what so people are asking me. I'm looking at the chat right now, real quick. Real quick here. They're asking me what are my predictions for earnings tomorrow. I don't care. I'm gonna look at them and we'll see. But ultimately, I know where we're headed. We're headed in the right direction. I'm not so much. I to be quite. This might piss people off, but I actually want it to go down so I could buy more. I know that sounds a little insane, but I would love to get more. So I'm hoping that retail does its thing and they get out, right? It'd be nice. So institutions and people like us can, you know, get it, right? That's what it is. It's one of the only value-based AI companies that has AI Scribe and all that that's publicly traded. Just put that together. I mean, later on when the stock goes up and everything, everyone's going to have like hindsight's 2020. Like, oh wow, how could I miss this? Right? But I mean, they're missing it now. So that's kind of the thought process here. I want you to take all that data I just gave you. Take the AI.com bubble data, take the VIX data. It almost seems biblical. Right? Look at it. When I say biblical, I don't mean Bible. I mean this. Look, think about it. If we're on this timeline, we go from 47 to 42. We take a dip, and that's 18 months. So if we take this date here, and if we add 18 months, what is 18 months added on to this one? $2026. We get a nice little dip, and then after that, we explode on to 75%. That's a huge gain, guys. So again, we're on this. It looks like we're on this timeline here. And the last time we had that, if we were to stay true to ourselves in this timeline, was this here, this one right there. Right there. Right there. Boom, 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 boom. Right there, which is right here. Right at the bottom. And since that day that we had that, we had this huge run up. So this could be it. Right? Yeah. So there's that. Now, really quickly, here's the portfolio. This is year to date. You could see that we were up really high here, but then watch, we fell all the way down, right? So you can see I bought more. So when I do get at this level, it'll be a lot higher. I think it'll be like 1.6, 1.7 million, right? But you could see kind of the situation here, right? Now, am I doing options? No, I'm not, right? This is like earnings week tomorrow. I might be able to do it to be announced, but just imagine it, like this is pretty good, man. 40, I can make 40 grand this week if I want to, right? If I think it's going to go down lower, I can make 100 grand, right? We can go next week and make 54, right? So again, or we could go up to $6.50 and make just $3,000. Or just go back here and see how high it goes here. 6.6. Yeah, so that's not bad, dude. And this one here, you can make an easy $6,000 this week. I would say $5. Who knows? But again, it's too risky. It's too risky. I just can't. Knowing all this data, I just can't. I don't care. I rather leave 40 grand on the table this week. I don't care. Let it burn. I don't care. Because I know what's coming in the future. Okay. So, yeah. So now we talked about this. Yes. So I don't know if this is GLP-1s or the economy. I think it's more the economy. But I just need you to pay attention to this. Look at it. Wendy's, the burger. Wendy's is down. Chipotle's is down. I don't know what this place down to. Shake Shack is down. Shake Shack, sorry. Burger joint. It seems to me as the consumer and the normal day American is running out of money. Invest in your own disruption. Even if AI is going to replace you, invest in your own disruption. The month of October, retail investors sold CLOV. And that was the time where CLOV was up a lot. And a lot of retail investors sold. Typical dumb money, right, is what we say, right? Or what Wall Street says. Going back to our discussion regarding Chipotle and all this other stuff, we have two different economies now. Almost looks like a K. Look at that K. Here's your K-shape. Here's your K-shape economy. Here's the upper K and here's the lower K. The win, which I used to count cards at. Yeah, yes, I used to count cards. I made about 20K from them. Thank you, Win. I love you. They've always wanting to send me trips. They wanted to send me a private jet there so they can get your money back. Nope, it's my money now. So I counted cards a long time ago, and I killed them, man. I had like blackjacks, and I even told the guys I'm counting cards. I was like having a good time. They didn't kick me out. Oh, it's pretty. But I did spend a good money. I got a Kobe steak and at the dinner and good wine and it was a very very good steak. But then I went to win to go gamble, but I stayed at Caesars. Right? So Caesars is for the po, right? It's for the po. It's for the broke. It's for the destitute. Right? So you can see Caesars is not doing well, but Win is. It's two different economies now. If I was to go, honestly, I would go to Caesars. But if I was to go now, given my status, I would go to the Win. No, I think I think they would try to, once they're like, he's back. He's back. And I won't gamble $1. I don't gamble anymore. Right? I like to have an edge, and the best edge is in Wall Street, right? Because you get to. It's almost like poker, isn't it? Right? With covered calls, right? It's all poker related, right? So anywho, two different economies. Okay. Retail sold. Okay, now, if you don't understand the past, you are a fool. These are all the technologies of the past. Now, remember, don't you think those stock markets were amazing? The steam engine stock market. Oh my God, it's an engine. Holy crap. Let's buy it. To the moon. Railroads. We're laying down the foundation of America. Buy railroads. This is like Benjamin Graham type era, right? Then we have like internal combustion. Internet combustion, right? What the hell is that? Electricity, telephone, radio, refrigeration, air conditioners. Then you had chemicals, materials, you can read, okay? Now we have 3D printing, reusable rockets, adaptive robots, advanced batteries, autonomous mobility, cloud computing, AI, right? Intelligent devices, multomics technology like probably sequencing, precision therapy, programmable biology, Tempest AI. right? Digital wallets, smart contracts, cryptocurrencies, blockchain for finance related activities, which I'm not really the best at. Finance stocks are going to be trading like at tech stocks, soon levels with incorporating this technology. Now, let me think. Let's look at Tempest AI right now. Where is it at right now? 88. Look at that. It's up a lot. 15 billion market cap. Hello, hello, hello. Look at that. Mosaic we talked about. That's it. That's all I have for you guys. That's all I have. Let me open up the chat here. It's been I'm kind of really behind on the chat, but I want to go get a massage. Your boy's tired. I got a little kink in my neck, when you sleep wrong. I'm gonna have the lady massage it out for me. I really need some help. Oof. Just popped it.
Internet changed every aspect of life. What do you think I do so early?
Exactly. The internet changed every aspect of life. Oh yeah. Just that for inflation. We wrote code to load to play the game. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Hey, what's going on? Dude, I can't wait to meet you in Vegas, man. Our time is coming. Remember, Mark Cuban did this. Exactly. Right? Mark Cuban sold right before the bubble popped. That's what I'm saying, man. Study your history. Know your history. Let's see here. My college roommate.
CS. My college roommate had an IBM computer in 1983. I used it too. Type of course and found out about major I experienced personal computers from the start. The evolution is unreal.
Yeah, exactly. You see the evolution. It's insane. It's tough, man. It's tough. Honestly, I'm not really expecting. The bar is so low now with Part D. I would say if they beat on every metrics and somehow they're able to adjust EBITDA, that's a win. If it stays the same, it stays the same. You might have retail sell off, and it may basically. And actually, you do remind me. It may go in and it may potentially retest $3.30, which is the simple moving average. So it may retest that. And let's say, for example, if they do well, then it could break out at 390 and potentially maybe stall at $4 or $4.50. But again, it could go either way. Now, interestingly enough, actually, you bring up a good point. I don't like to talk about this because this is more for paying members. But we could go ahead and do an algo flow on this. Algo flow is very accurate. You can go ahead and get it through Tradealytics and pay $60 a month. But we offer it included within our lifetime, just a courtesy with our partnering data here. But let's see what it says here for algo. Oh, ho 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 ho! Whoa ho ho ho! What is that? Holy balloony! Looks like Algo's thinking this thing's gonna moon, which is kind of weird. We'll see. Again, could be wrong, but Algo's looking pretty good. Hit that Jex. What does the Jex say? Let's see. Just kind of going through all these. Trump says so many things, Shant. It's so hard to predict. I mean, we barely can predict what can we do in a year. 2 years? Yeah, no. No, I don't believe what Trump says. He likes to gaslight. No, I know. Once they see the AI side of things and the revenue, oh man, it's going to be insane. Yeah, we talked about that. We'll talk about it later, but we see. Yeah, we'll see. Analysts are thinking yes if you use our terminal, right? So hit the Jex. Said this one here. 5 days. This one here. Oh wow. Yeah. No expire. Yeah. So that's the limit, right? The limit's around 450 and 5. Once we pop over 5, it's going to be pretty. Yeah. Yeah, we get over exactly. Exactly. And you know what? We know this because if you go to the institutional deep research analysis that we have, let's go back here. We're just nerding out, no biggie. If we go here and go to here, if we go here, and if we go again, it's all part of lifetime access. If we go here and look at the overall strong buys, once we go over, this, you saw it here with what's happened, but 68, 8, 12, we have strong buys that are statistically significant. And I would say once we get over that $5 hump, we're going to get in a position where it's going to be pretty crazy, right? So, right. Still planning to do an annual report for Alstar. Oh yeah. Actually, you know what, Doug, you meant yeah. Let me go ahead and let me because I can't show the picks because, or should I show the picks? I mean, we're kind of pretty much done, right? We're done with the year. F it. Let's show you guys. Let's show you the picks. Oh, what the hell, right? All right, so let's go to the home. So let's go to portfolio hedging modeling system. This is our proprietary system. You can see this. Look at that. All part of Al Stock Trades. So if we look at that right now, these are all the stocks that we selected at the beginning of the year. You could see its performance relative to that of the S&P 500. So you could see our portfolio has returned 22% versus the S&P 500 has returned 16.76%. So 22.59 versus 16.76. So ours is winning, which is great. And it's actually pretty cool because I want, and again, these are all the stocks that I don't talk about these stocks. So you guys probably never like, what? He knows about these stocks? NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, MasterCard, Arista, Intuit, AAH, Quanta Services, Viva Systems, MSCI, Fix, which has done really well. Fix was one of our picks for a while. Lulu's been a lagger, which is a shame because our portfolio would have been a lot higher. KNSL, all these ones, okay? So you can see here that there's okay. These are picked through a system that I've developed that is again, just very, very quickly, remember, this is all for educational purposes only. That's a disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is just educational, right? What I like about it is the way they're picked is quite interesting. Hedge funds love these stocks. This is like hedge fund blood, okay? So it's very interesting because the green is the portfolio and the red is the S&P, okay? Now, I want us to look at the green here. When did the green start to go down? And it started to so our portfolio started to depreciate near the October 7th low. Okay? So our portfolio started to depreciate in the April 7th. But it took about a month for the S&P to start falling. So Wall Street started selling way before Main Street. So Main Street's here. So you could see they didn't start selling, right? So this is a predictor where it tells you see how it glows on the side? Isn't that cool? It tells you when Wall Street was wanting to sell. So when the green crossed below the red, they were selling. Now, when did it recross over the red? It recrossed over the red here. Kind of almost here, right? But it recrossed here. And then as soon as that happened, that was kind of like May, that the rally went crazy. Now, most recently, we were actually up pretty high in the portfolio outperformance. But recently, there's been a kind of consolidation. Now, again, I don't know if this is hedge fund repositioning or they're trying to basically say we've outperformed, we're up 22%. That's pretty good this year. The problem is if and you guys know, we called out Palantir at $6.50, SoFi at $4.80. I mean, it's all you guys, it's all written down, right? And again, this is all for educational purposes. Nothing, not financial advice here, right? Take this as a grain of shit, right? Not even salt, right? It's all a grain of shit. It's all garbage. Just use it for education. What was I going to say? It could be that if the S&P starts going up more, these stocks are going to perform. So let me explain. This portfolio historically has a backtest model. It performs very well in a green market, more better than the S&P 500 on average. However, if the S&P 500 takes a dump, this will take a larger dump. Get it? But these are only as good based off of the big dogs that I follow. I take in a lot of information. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, institutional analysis, legendary hedge fund analysis. There's a lot that goes into this. But anywho, that's pretty much it. So yeah, no, I appreciate you, Doug. I wasn't going to talk about these stock picks because, but you guys can see, honestly, and we've been talking about this for a while. I mean, look, this fix one, we called this out a long time ago, but most retail investors don't know what fix is. Look at fix stock. Look at that. Look at that. We talked about this in 2023, right? If you don't recall, we talked about fix. It's been a 7-bagger, right? Again, there's a lot that's packaged in lifetime access that it's an educational platform, and you have to understand why our lifetime access members are happy, because I literally try to shove as much as I can into this platform. Like this thing is it's like space. It just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Okay. And we got CLOV 6X on its all-time lows. That's amazing, right? Or that's sexy. Hell yeah. So, and oh yeah, in terms of the fix here, this was the low, and then another 2-bagger. So yeah. There it is. It'll be interesting to see the Russell performance over. Yeah. And as the Russell goes up, Clover's going to follow pursuit, right? So I'm very excited. Also, we got, institutional ownership to look forward to. There's a lot. So anywho, I love you guys a lot. I care about you guys. I'm very excited for tomorrow and also for the future. As you guys can see, we're very data driven. I mean, this is all data, right? There is no opinions besides my inferences, but I try to make sure I spend 15, 20, 30 minutes explaining why I'm thinking that way. And if you can disagree, please do so. And I love my community. The lifetime access, holy shit, guys. I learned so much from you guys. Keep talking, keep fighting, keep talking, keep arguing, keep at it. I like that. You know what I mean? It's just like fuck, life not examined is not a life worth living. Socrates, right? What the hell, right? Go, right? Go fight. Go fight for what you believe in. If you believe in that, show me the data. Fight for what you believe in. Use the data that we have. Use other people's data. I don't know. Just let's try to get to the truth, right? And yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's nice to have all this money, but it's so much fun being able to finding it. It's like finding treasures. I don't know. I like to find them. It's nice to have money, But like eating out at expensive places gets old, you know? Pretty much. I mean, it's nice to go on trips, but there has to be some purpose in life. So, hopefully you guys find your purpose. I found it through medicine. But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, we talked about everything. Let me see. Yeah, that's it. That's all. Maybe one more thing. Counterpart is going to be looking at agentic AI models through his interview. Uh, they're already building that out, and it's going to be amazing. And Humana's not doing it; they're going to use it probably. Appreciate you all. Love you all a lot. Oh yeah, 100%. Last thing, did you see Altman's comment about 20? Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. 2027. That's gonna be. That might be our year, guys. 2027. I think this AI is gonna broaden out, and it's finally gonna come up beyond the Mag 7. So I'm very excited. I'm gonna use this paper as just kind of to send you off, guys. Appreciate you guys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Al stock trades. Oh, dude, I just saw your message here. Where'd it go? Ah man, I lost your message. You were saying, yeah, dude, I need to get the merch store. We used to have a merch store, and I just got tired and didn't update it. And there was something I need to click, and I didn't click, and then the merch store left. So I just have to press the button, and we'll bring the merch. We're gonna build the merch store back online. I need to build it, and then I need to it'll be under the YouTube channel. I just need to build it, order it, and then see if it's good, like to my testing. And we'll have like funny quotes. We'll just have some really weird quotes. You know what I mean? We'll make some really. Hey, pro, if you're watching this, pro, I'm gonna take a screenshot of one of your comments. Bro, he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. And then we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff on the merch, guys. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun. Right? It'll be good. I'll make something basic just so they get the question. No, yeah, man, hell yeah, and send me pictures and stuff. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you guys. I love you all. God bless you, and dude, we're gonna do great. We're gonna do great. This is gonna be fun, right? Yeah, I gotta take a look at it, right? I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's the I gotta go to dry cleaning. It's gonna close in 20 minutes. So sadly, no thoughts. But come on our platform and do the due diligence and use the data, and there you have it. So, but we'll take a look if you can. Somebody in the lifetime do the due diligence on this and let me know. Right. I want to get out of this suit so I can go get a massage and then go to get first off get the dry cleaning and then massage. Yeah, Michelle. She has her headphones on. All right, guys, that's all I have. God bless you all. Remember, guys, we're in this together. We have a beautiful life ahead of us. We're gonna win together, and it's gonna be very sweet. It's gonna be very sweet, and it's gonna be great. Okay, it's gonna be good. Okay. I'm very stoked for this. More so the community than the money. The money will come, right? Service, you'll always bring money in, right? It's the byproduct of helping, right? People should just focus on that rather than focus on money, but it is what it is. But we're gonna do well. We're gonna have a really great time. Once we have all the money and make all the money, then we can sit down and have a book club. We can read a bunch of books. We could have like a book club and lifetime access to just talk about like how to build our own lattice framework of thinking. Because we have a lot of experience now. I showed you the .com bubble stuff. You guys have a lot of knowledge now. This is worldly knowledge. And it's funny. I'm sure Vivek probably doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know about Mosaic, but I'm sure he didn't know about the exact dates of the Fed. He knew that the Fed cut, but he doesn't know about the exact dates. You got some good knowledge up your belt now, right? And the more knowledge we put in, the more knowledge we can apply. It's worldly knowledge. And Albert Einstein didn't have the internet, right? We do. We can learn so much. And we have AI now. And it's freaking beautiful, guys. Right? This is just wow. Yeah. I mean, here. Yeah, we'll do this later. But yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, and you could see this is isn't this cool? I don't show this off because again, this is, but look how sexy that is. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. That is the power of the Al stock trades. People think oh my God, it's a course. No, we're not a course. Yes, it's a course, but it's a software. I'm just using the course because how the hell are you going to know how to learn how to use the software? Right? So I hope that you're starting to see the vision of what I'm trying to create. Okay? This is really academic, guys. This is like some academic stuff. You can download screenshot. A lot of cool stuff. All right. So anywho, let's send you off with this. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you on the next one. Wrong one. Dr. Patel, I love you. All right, I love you, Dr. Patel. This is the end of the live, but I saw your name. I wanted to give you a shout out. I love you a lot, man. I love you a lot. I love you. All right. All right. Have a nice day, guys. Love you a lot.